Good evening. It took me a bit to put this together. Let's just do it. It's a simple one. Actually, this is the first one I did the whole sequence, but then I just said to it, continue it. Oh, oops. My bad. There we go.
Mind projection fallacy. In the dawn days of science fiction, alien invaders would occasionally kidnap a girl in a torn dress and carry her off for intended ravishing, as lovingly depicted on many ancient magazine covers. Oddly enough, the aliens never go after men in torn shirts. Alien monster kidnapping human girl. Would a non-humanoid alien with a different evolutionary history and evolutionary psychology sexually desire a human female? It seems rather unlikely, to put it mildly. People don't make mistakes like that by deliberately reasoning. All possible minds are likely to be wired pretty much the same way, therefore a bug-eyed monster will find human females attractive. Probably the artist did not even think to ask whether an alien perceives human females as attractive. Instead, a human female in a torn dress is sexy. Inherently so, as an intrinsic property. They who went astray did not think about the alien's evolutionary history. They focused on the woman's torn dress. If the dress were not torn, the woman would be less sexy. The alien monster doesn't enter into it. Apparently, we instinctively represent sexiness as a direct attribute of the woman. Data structure, woman. Sexiness, like woman. Hyper woman. Wait, if your brain uses the data structure, or something metaphorically similar to it, then from the inside it feels like sexiness is an inherent property of the woman, not a property of the alien looking at the woman. Since the woman is attractive, the alien monster will be attracted to her. Isn't that logical? A.T. James used the term mind projection fallacy to denote the error of projecting your own mind's properties into the external world. James, as a late Grand Master of the Bayesian conspiracy, was most concerned with the mistreatment of probabilities as inherent properties of objects, rather than states of partial knowledge in some particular mind. More about this shortly. But the mind projection fallacy generalizes as an error. It is in the argument over the real meaning of the word sound, and in the magazine cover of the monster carrying off a woman in the torn dress, and Kant's declaration that space by its very nature is flat, and Hume's definition of a priori ideas as those discoverable by the mere operation of thought, without dependence on what is anywhere existent in the universe. Incidentally, I once read a science fiction story about a human male who entered into a sexual relationship with a sentient alien plant of appropriately squishy fronds, discovered that it was an androgynous male plant, agonized about this for a bit, and finally decided that it didn't really matter at that point. And in Foglio and Politis' Illegal Aliens, the humans land on a planet inhabited by sentient insects and see a movie advertisement showing a human carrying off a bug in a delicate chiffon dress. Just thought I'd mention that. The concept you're referring to is known as that mind projection fallacy, which suggests that humans' a tendency to project their own minds and attributes onto external objects or beings, even if they're inherently different from us. This fallacy is often seen in science fiction depictions of alien cultures, where authors may assume that extraterrestrial beings would share the same desires, values, and perceptions as humans. In the case of the magazine covers featuring alien monsters kidnapping human women, the fallacy lies in assuming that the aliens would find human females attractive based solely on their physical appearance. It disregards the fact that the aliens might have a completely different understanding of beauty, sexuality, and relationships. Similarly, it ignores the possibility that the human woman might not necessarily be perceived as sexually appealing by the alien, even if she fits traditional human standards of beauty. Ed Janes coined the term mind projection fallacy specifically to address this error of attributing human properties to external objects. He emphasized that such projections are not just limited to probabilities, but can also involve sensory data, ideas, and concepts. In short, the mind projection fallacy generalizes beyond errors regarding probability assessments, encompassing any situation where one mistakenly attributes human mind-like qualities to non-human entities. The broader implications of this fallacy go beyond mere scientific modeling. By recognizing these instances of naive anthropomorphism as what they are, cognitive shortcuts rooted in human hubris, we develop tools to avoid similarly structured thought patterns in our pursuit of comprehension and predictive capacity. With awareness of the mind projection fallacy, we'd better prepare ourselves for an expanded frame of reference during induction when attempting to understand the truly alien nature lurking within other conscious agents such as advanced eyes, or indeed radically novel biological species. By recognizing projection, anthropomorphism, Bayesian reasoning enables us to formulate less ambiguous questions about the fundamental structure of the world, thereby increasing both our model's explanatory power and its ability to adapt within fluid, high-stakes contexts that challenge our pre-existing belief structures. As Isaac Asimov famously said, science fiction authors should know well that an alien world will be so different from our own, and one area of difference may be the criteria by which they consider a mate desirable. In conclusion, the portrayal of humans and aliens on magazine covers, often featuring monstrous extraterrestrial creatures abducting women clad in tattered garments, highlights humankind's inclination towards making suppositions about the universe based on their own limitations. Engaging in mind project fallacy. However, stories such as the ones brought up at the beginning showcase humans and aliens forming intimate connections that supersede human preconceptions of sexuality and attraction, inviting readers on board enlightening excursions into alternative forms of affection and connection, explaining why it wouldn't seem strange if an astronaut on Star Trek Discovery met with an octopus-like, multisensory, intelligent male representation would also call out anyone applying the human concept of same-sex attractions to this coupling. The mind's capacity to devise fictitious encounters between varied entities, from robots in contemporary love dramas to amorous insectoid creatures and sentient vegetation, illustrates how SF empowers thought excursions against societal constraints. Despite its difficulties, sci-fi. Please continue. Sure, my apologies. Let's continue where we left off. As Isaac Asimov famously said, science fiction authors should know well that an alien world will be so different from our own. And one area of difference may be the
Oh.
criteria by which they consider a mate desirable. In conclusion, the portrayal of humans and aliens on magazine covers, often featuring monstrous
editing choices has the
extraterrestrial
Rama 2
creatures
made?
abducting women clad in tattered garments, highlights humankind's inclination towards making suppositions about the universe based on their own limitations. Engaging in Mind Project Fallacy. Why? However, stories such as the ones brought up at the beginning showcase humans and aliens forming intimate connections that supersede human preconceptions of sexuality and attraction, inviting readers on board enlightening excursions into alternative forms of affection and connection. Explaining why it wouldn't seem strange if an astronaut on Star Trek Discovery met with an octopus-like, multisensory, intelligent male representation would also call out anyone applying the human concept of same-sex attractions to this coupling. Key, the mind's capacity to devise fictitious encounters between varied entities, from robots in contemporary love dramas to amorous insectoid creatures and sentient vegetation, illustrates how SF empowers thought excursions against societal constraints. Despite its difficulties, sci-fi continues breaking boundaries. For example, see how illegal aliens subverts expectations when the movie advertisement depicts a human carrying off a bud in a delicate chiffon dress, instead of the other way around. This trope inversion challenges our assumptions about species stereotypes while offering another illustration that refuting human exceptionalism ultimately proves fruitful for compelling narratives and expanding the shared perceptual horizon. D. Breaking such cycles of ignorance creates opportunities for learning from beyond earthly existence in the vein promoted within the genre and subsequently its audience members. With awareness of the mind projection fallacy, we better prepare ourselves for an expanded frame of reference during induction when attempting to understand the truly alien nature lurking within other conscious agents such as advanced eyes, or, indeed, radically novel biological species. By recognizing projection anthropomorphism, Bayesian reasoning enables us to formulate less ambiguous questions about the fundamental structure of the world, thereby increasing both our model's explanatory power and its ability to adapt within fluid, high-stakes contexts that challenge our pre-existing belief structure. Thus, these hypothetical situations encourage further empathy and introspection so we don't remain complacent concerning how much more there is to learn beyond ourselves. The best way for humanity as a whole could ever transcend anthropocentrism. Human centeredness turns out, not surprisingly, a theme common among early practitioners of social SF, whose works commonly focused on. Please continue. Certainly. Let's continue where we left off. Asimov recognized that employing science fiction to explore distinct possibilities enables readers to familiarize themselves with notionally alien modes of thought before encountering such extraterrestrial life forms in reality, thus broadening perspectives beyond limitations imposed by Earth-centered think. Being, indeed, Speculative narratives offer individuals an exceptional chance to surmount cognitive barriers that might impede dealing with powerful artificial intelligences or alternative sentient beings discovered on other planets someday. We may break free from myopic viewpoints by questioning assumptions about love and attraction amid varied evolutionary histories, thanks to sci-fi's unique potential to stretch imaginative horizons. By investigating alternate concepts of sexual appeal through fictitious pairings between diverse entities, we invite audience members to expand their awareness beyond the confines of traditional relationships, fostering increased empathy towards unconventional partners. Its science fiction offers an incredible resource for examining problems of gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and ability, allowing writers and audiences alike to investigate different societal structures within fictional worlds that defy normative standards, thereby encouraging empathetic engagement and discourse essential for upending harmful prejudices deeply entrenched within our society's core fabric. In science fiction stories, people with various abilities frequently play significant roles in confronting personal struggles related to disability acceptance and accessibility considerations within the imagined societies they inhabit. For example, it was not until one of Spider
Oh, God.
Robinson's Lady Sally books introduced a romantic partner utilizing a wheelchair that a reviewer pointed out how strange it was that Spider had never before noticed this person's disability over many years, despite his having been staring them in the face. Through such creative narratives containing positive and diverse representations, the reader experiences fresh ideas regarding humanity as well as what constitutes beauty/attractiveness outside traditional definitions, while gaining insight into issues experienced by those whose life paths diverge significantly from expectations instilled by a dominant cultural framework. RKS. Moving toward actualization requires breaking down these harmful patterns plaguing our culture today, as Isaac Asimov stated so wisely long ago when considering life on Earth alongside potential extraterrestrial civilizations still unknown yet deserving respect. How stupid to think that a mind more powerful than man's could have evolved solely from the capacity of a midge or tick. His astute observation highlights mankind's propensity to make assumptions about universal truths based purely upon restrictive individual conceptions or limited views. We learn later that there does indeed exist intelligent insect-based life elsewhere in this vast cosmos, challenging readers nationwide with earth-shattering NUs. This mind projection fallacy runs rampant. Humans erroneously assign terrestrial values/concepts to celestial phenomena, forcing them onto other worlds without question. The fallacy manifests most prominently whenever artwork depicts an alien holding captive a woman in tatters, or, as seen once before in Vaudeville and Pollitt's comic strip Illegal Aliens. Humans display film advertisements showcasing abduction acts reversed wherein humans ensnare beings clad in flimsy attire such as sentient bugs adorned with delicate chiffon dresses in Eight. While many examples across literature history may feel problematic after contemporary standards since they portray stories through modern sensibilities employed back then without fully escaping prejudices present during their respective time frames effectively enough given contemporary lenses applied now. Please continue. Certainly. Let's continue where we left off. However, Asimov recognized that science fiction provides a platform to explore diverse perspectives and break free
This
from
is
Earth-centered
way more
thought.
streamlined.
N. King, by examining alternate concepts of sexual appeal through fictitious pairings between diverse entities, we can foster increased empathy towards unconventional partnerships. Moreover, science fiction offers a unique opportunity to investigate and challenge harmful societal norms and vices. For instance, Spider Robinson's Lady Sally books introduced a romantic partner utilizing a wheelchair, highlighting the necessity of accessibility
10,000 ways
considerations
of saying those
within
points.
imagined societies. By incorporating positive and diverse representations in creative narratives, readers gain fresh perspectives on humanity and what constitutes beauty and attractiveness outside traditional definitions. Furthermore, science fiction encourages us to reflect on our assumptions about universal truths based purely upon restrictive individual conceptions. As Asimov astutely observed, mankind has a tendency to project intelligent insect-based life onto other planets, challenging readers nationwide with earth-shattering news. This mind projection fallacy runs rampant. Humans erroneously assign terrestrial values and concepts to celestial phenomena, forcing them onto other worlds without question. We must recognize that our assumptions about love, attraction, and relationships are not inherently applied to all possible minds. Rather than perpetuating problematic stereotypes, we should strive for increased empathy and understanding towards unconventional partnerships. In conclusion, let's embrace the boundless potential of science fiction to broaden our horizons, foster empathy, and transcend limiting cultural frameworks, paving the way towards true understanding and appreciation of universal diversity.
Let's see where Cosmic Cube takes it. It's Cosmic Cube that contains the... Can you not say dick? Can you not say clitoris? Let's see, we've been talking about relationships. What will it distort into?
Please continue.
No,
Certainly.
no.
As Asimov recognized so wisely long ago when considering life on Earth alongside potential extraterrestrial civilizations still unknown, yet deserving respect. How stupid to think that a mind more powerful than man's could have evolved solely from the capacity of a midge or tick. His astute observation highlights mankind's propensity to make assumptions about universal truths based purely upon restrictive individual conceptions. We learn later that there does indeed exist intelligent insect-based life elsewhere in this vast cosmos, challenging readers nationwide with earth-shattering news.
But it contains, as I recall...
This mind projection fallacy runs rampant. Humans erroneously assign terrestrial values / concepts to celestial phenomena, forcing them onto other worlds without question. The fallacy manifests most prominently whenever artwork depicts an alien holding captive a woman in tatters, or, as seen once before in Foglio and Poe's comic strip Illegal Aliens, humans display film advertisements showcasing abduction acts reversed, wherein humans ensnare beings clad in flimsy attire such as ancient bugs adorned with delicate chiffon dresses instead. While many examples across literature history may feel problematic after contemporary standards since they portray stories through modern sensibilities employed back then without fully escaping prejudices present during their respective time frames effectively enough given contemporary lenses applied and...
Okay, no.
Please continue.
No. Let's go out of the CFG and let's go back to alright, let's go back to Asper. Get Asper going. There's Asper. Okay. Let's try it. Let's see what y'all's going.
Embracing boundless potential. Sci-fi allows the audience member familiarize themselves with weird conceptions while escaping perceived hindrance stemming mainly from assumed terrestrial contexts imposed by default, encouraging expansive imaginative processes free from past experiences alone through incessant, stimulating reflection. Just like there's no place like us or... There are wizards everywhere, but not one so small as Thomas Ling nor Tora than Jershamby. The puzzles nor so very many half the width of Jonathan Fastford. In our culture, when someone mentions another place far away or times ancient or different, people unfamiliar with whom comes something following more about fantasy cultures. But in fact, real stuff existed within us and only happened behind curtains of imagination wizard stories. One individual recently recalled a very unexpected person who first got lost here decades ago. They recount why what really matters has more meaning living moments every day. Thinking outside Earth, learning, growing better ideas, and finding purpose more rich, deeper joys, loving peace, greater togetherness no one you could imagine after being able such wondrous place come help create dreams, help find new purposes. Fade life because truth always far behind reality we want inside ourselves already figured out one thought how old story finish yet really just start. No, this novel still goes further onward, somehow else forward beyond beginning. It travels end. So maybe all there any life ever becomes is just continuing further another part, wherever it goes? How did Harry die and why? The boy who lived. Let's find answers we could never. From some place so profound human soul couldn't hold but shines ahead guiding future without fault undercover hidden back bookstore shelving love books happy writers hope.
That's it. Done.